So we're just talking. Next thing I know, I just felt like this just intense feeling of just being observed. I look up and there's just, the only way I can describe it is like what you would imagine the Grim Reaper would be. Just this enormous figure that was cloaked. It was just staring us down.
You're listening to the Cryptid Creatures Podcast with Todd and Brian. If you've had an encounter and want to be on the show, email us at info@cryptidcreatures.co or visit our website at www.cryptidcreatures.net.
This is the Cryptid Creatures Podcast. I am Brian, and with me as always is my co-host Todd. What's up, buddy?
Hey man, how you doing? What do you know about the Grim Reaper?
I know you don't want to meet him.
Supposedly tonight's guest has met the Grim Reaper. Or something like it.
I'm excited to hear that one.
Matt's coming on to talk about his encounter in a graveyard. I think he's had a couple encounters with maybe a ghost, Grim Reaper type creature, and something else strange. So
really? Wow, can't wait to hear that. All right.
Let's bring him on and find out what's going on.
Yep, let's get him.
How's it going?
I'm going good. Trying to figure out which way is better. Sorry. So I didn't know I was going to need my computer for this, so I'm on my phone. I do apologize, but
that's okay.
I'm not at the house tonight, so I took a couple days off work so I could go enjoy a hit miss engine show up in Portland, Indiana for the weekend. So
Portland, Indiana. Where's that at exactly in Indiana?
It's the northeast side.
Is it near Fort Wayne at all?
Yeah, it's like an hour. Probably I'd say about an hour from Fort Wayne.
Okay, you're not too far from us.
Yeah.
So I was born and raised in southern Indiana. So
okay,
cool.
Yeah, we're in South Bend area, kind of just south of the Michigan border there. So you're not too far away from us right now.
I've been listening to y'all's podcast. I ran onto it the other day and a couple weeks ago, and I'd say, and I started at the beginning, and I've been working my way up, so I've been enjoying it. So
cool.
Awesome.
And I heard you guys mention, you're like, yeah, we're from Indiana, and I was like, no joke.
Yep.
I was like, that's awesome.
Cool.
So, but yeah, my name is Matt. So, yep.
Well, welcome to the show, Matt. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's a pretty wild story. I think I have to share with you guys tonight, and hope you guys, like my story and all of that. And I'd like to say this isn't my only paranormal story, but this is definitely the most interesting one that I've ever had.
Okay.
So, I guess where do you want to begin?
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this happened, I would say roughly 2015 or 2016. I was stationed at Fort Campbell in Clarksville, Tennessee, spent 8 years in the Army active. I was visiting my friend's house. And when we show up, typical, freshly built house, right? Privacy fence all around it. He's taking me through it, and we get out to the backyard. Well, I noticed that there was another privacy fence like within the fence, and I was like, "Hey, dude," I was like, "What's up with that?" He's like, "Oh, there's a graveyard in there." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay." So, So prior to the event during the day, we went out there and, we went inside the privacy fence within the privacy fence, kind of redundant. So there was stone outlining, around the actual graveyard itself. These are like early, like Civil War, like old. This graveyard's old, right? So, we're hanging out. His name was Eastman. I did talk with him, so he said I could use his name, so we're good on that. So, but so we're hanging out, right? And we'd had, a little bit to drink that night, but nothing, intoxication wise, but just chilling, doing what Army guys do, and why we went back out there later that night is because we're sitting there, just shooting the shit, talking, and he has like this ridiculously bright light on his back deck that shines out towards the privacy fence and the trees, right? Like it's like 1,000 looms or something like that. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And he's like, what? And I was like, well, if you look straight out, your light doesn't illuminate the graveyard, like the fence of the graveyard at all. And he's like, I never noticed that, but yeah, it's pretty weird. And I was like, that's interesting. So that was like the first thing I noticed. Like there would have no reason why this light shouldn't have been illuminating that area. Like he had trees, but they weren't in a position where they should have been blocking. So that was very interesting to me. So, it's getting late. It's like, I'd say like 1 or 2. And I was just like, hey man, let's just go out there and just go chill or whatever. So I don't know why. I just thought it would be fun to go out there and just observe the graveyard at night. Like not to like walk through it or anything, you know what I mean? But just like to go out there and just experience it, because I was like, that's a weird thing that this thing isn't being illuminated. So I was like, I kind of want to go back there to go see it. So we're back there, we're inside the wooden fence, but we aren't past the stone barrier that is the graveyard. So we're respectfully outside, but just observing. And we're just talking. And, I was asking him if he was ever going to, start to clean up the graveyards, make it look a little bit better, stuff of the nature. And he's like, yeah, I think I eventually, would like to start restoring this so it can look good and be preserved. And I was like, yeah, it'd be pretty cool. And, so we're just talking. And, we were probably out there chit-chatting for probably at least an hour. I don't know. We were out there for a while. Next thing I know, I just felt like this just intense feeling of just being observed. And I've always had a good knack for it. Like, for instance, my 8-year-old daughter has woken me up out of my sleep because she stands at the edge of my bed and stares at me. So we're out there and, I look up and there's just, the only way I can describe it is like what you would imagine the Grim Reaper would be, right? Just this enormous figure that was cloaked. I don't know that it had a scythe or anything particular. I don't remember that per se, but it was just staring us down like hardcore. Like, what are you guys doing? And so, and I've heard that all graveyards have what I call the keeper, which is what I believe, what I saw that particular night. I believe that this thing is there to, kind of help ferry the souls, if you will, and or, protect if needed. And, I look up and I mean, this entity and me, we're staring at each other and I'm just like, okay, getting this vibe that we need to leave. I got it. Yeah. And so I turned to my buddy and I'm like, hey, I think it's time to go inside. And he was like, I was just getting ready to say the same thing. I didn't tell him about it like right then. I was like, let's just go inside. So we go inside. I was just like, hey, dude, like, did you see that thing staring at us by chance? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, I didn't see it. And I was like, dude, there's this like enormous, like Grim Reaper thing just stared us down. And he's like, I felt something, but I couldn't see it. I was like, dude, it was insane, man. I told him about it, And so, the other day when I emailed you guys about it, I reached out to him and I was just like, hey, I want to tell a story, but I want your permission, because, you were involved. And he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, share it. He's like, that was a crazy story. He's like, that was a crazy night. He's like, I'll never forget it. And I was like, dude, I'll never forget that either. I was like, it was just absolutely insane. So, yeah, it was something. It wasn't like I wouldn't say fear per se, but it was just I want you to leave now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like that was what I got from that, cloaked entity. So we left.
Is your friend, does he still live there? Does he still live by there?
No, he's since PCS'd, so he's still in. I got out in 2018. So. Okay.
So how close were you to this thing, you think, when you saw it?
I mean, it's not a very big graveyard, so I mean, we're talking like 150 yards. It's not far, you know what I mean? It's, the graveyard might have been 20 foot, if I had to guess, 20, 30 foot. It wasn't a terribly big graveyard. So it was just like right on basically the outside of the privacy fence, like looking down, essentially. So...
Was it kind of like floating in the air? Did it kind of just appear?
You couldn't see any discernible legs or anything. It just seemed like it was just kind of hovering and just kind of existing.
Did it have any kind of face? Did it have any kind of face or anything like that? You said you guys were staring it down, or was it just... was it hooded or like the Grim Reaper?
It was more hooded. I felt like it had kind of more of a skeletalish face, like no flesh. You know what I mean? But nothing discernible. It was more just this cloaked figure that was just kind of like, I see you. And you're like, I see you.
Yeah, don't do anything crazy here. I'm watching.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't even know. When I first saw it, I was just like, there's no way I'm seeing this. Like, I was like, immediately my brain was just like, no, this doesn't exist. I was like,
there was a bright light in his backyard, but did you take a flashlight with you down there? Did you take any?
We had headlamps on, like walking out to the graveyard, but they weren't on at this moment. Like we had them shut off. So we were just in the darkness. And what little light that could filter through the trees, because there was trees, on the other side of the privacy fence. So you had a little rays of light coming in, but it wasn't like very bright. It was enough to see, the graves and stuff once you let your eyes adjust, but not very bright.
So did this thing, you guys went in the house after that, you decided to take off and go back in the house. Did you look outside to see if it was still kind of hanging around, or were you too afraid?
I did, but I couldn't see it anymore. So I think once we left, it decided that, it got its message across. So.
Yeah, for sure.
So had you had any other kind of weird ghost or paranormal experiences before this happened?
I have. And oddly, it also happened at night in a graveyard. So I don't know. I think I need to stop going to graveyards at night.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Stop going to graveyards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't catch me doing it.
Or take some cameras with you next time.
Something, yeah. If you guys want to hear about the other story, I can tell you that one's a lot older story. Most of the memories are still pretty fresh about it, but
yeah,
I don't know an exact year on this one because it had to have been in the early, probably 2009, 2010 era, somewhere in there, a while ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
I know, but to me, it feels like forever ago.
I know, it does feel like forever ago.
I've done a lot of things since then. I've been to, 4 countries and 3 states. So, so this story actually comes from Indiana. Have you ever heard of Step Cemetery?
No,
Nope.
I have not.
Well, it's supposed to be one of the most haunted cemeteries in all of Indiana, I do believe.
Southern,
It's
down in southern Indiana.
southern, yes. It's down close to Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay.
So, me and my wife, one of my two of my other buddies, they're all like, "Hey," my buddy was like, "I want to go to Step Cemetery tonight. You want to come with?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." I was like, "Let's go." I'd never been, so let's do it. So we're out there, and one guy, I don't even know, lost him. He's out meandering. Like, this is a big cemetery. He's out somewhere. I don't know where he's at. Like, he's gone somewhere. So, background on this. So this cemetery also has some ritualistic cult lore attached with it. I don't know exactly how accurate these claims are, but supposedly there have been cults that have performed sacrifices at this particular cemetery. So I don't know the validity of that, but it's the rumors. So, and we all know how rumors can go.
Yeah.
There's got to be a speck of truth in there somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So, we were, and of course we were out there. It was like midnight 1, late, no business being in this place. But, we were probably there an hour and a half or so, wandering around, just, they're trying to find proof of, ghosts and demons or whatever. And, I hadn't seen anything, or felt anything until, I don't know. We, like I said, probably been there about an hour and a half. And my wife looks over at me and she's like, "I'm getting this really bad feeling." She's like, "I want to get ready to go." And I was like, "That's fair. You're uncomfortable being here. We can, me and you can get ready to go to the car." So I turn around because I'm getting ready to find like my other buddy, who's the driver of the car. And I was like, "Hey, dude." And it was at this time when I turned, he was looking off to like the right somewhere, right? I turned to the left as I'm panning around. And that's when I saw it. And, sorry, mother-in-law just got home. I didn't know if she was going to come talk to me or not. So when I turned and I saw, this is the most terrifying thing, hands down, I've ever seen in my life. I have been through a lot of horrible things and wars and stuff in my military. This still today is, I don't ever want to go back to that place or ever see this thing again. So with that being said, I believe I saw a subdemon. And so what I mean by that, I've done a lot of research into various religions and stuff and, whatnot. It's just fascinating to me. I like learning, a lot of stuff. There's, Satan and like his like follower demons. I forget, like they all have their names, right? But so I turn and there's this figure who is, no joke, in a ring of fire. And like the bottom half was like furry hooves, coming up, and this thing has horns. And I mean, this thing is just putting off the most evil presence that you could ever imagine. And it is just deadlock stared with me. And I was just like, when I seen it, I was just like dumbfounded for a few seconds. I was like, uh-oh. I'm about to die.
Oh, shit. Did anybody else see it?
No. Like, and just as fast as it was there, it was gone. Because I turned, because I froze for a couple seconds. I was like, oh, I need to go. Like, we need to leave, like, right now. And I turned because I was going to be like, hey. And I looked back, just poof. Like it was never there. No burn marks, nothing. And I was so freaked out. I grabbed my wife. I walked up to my buddy. And I was like, listen, guy. I was like, we're going to the car. We're going to lock the car. We're going to stay in the car. Please hurry. We need to leave right freaking now. And I left. Like, and we hauled. And we went down. I mean, I don't know how to properly describe the amount of terror and fear I felt with me and this thing locked eyes. It was just absolutely insane. I mean,
Matt, can you describe the face of this thing? Did it look like a human type creature, or more like an animal?
Kind of like a animal mixture hybrid, if you will. It was like, if you could imagine what a demented face might potentially look like. I don't know how to properly describe, it. I don't know if it had sharp teeth or if it didn't. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because like I saw it and I just kind of froze and freaked out, and I was just like, I don't know what to. My brain was like, I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know how to process this, and we need to figure out something to do. Wow. So, but it definitely had horns, and it definitely, had the clothed, Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like my mic disconnected. Okay.
No, you're good.
I feel like more of it had fur on it than didn't have fur, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it was definitely the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
So
yeah, I would suggest staying out of the cemeteries.
I haven't been in any more cemeteries at night. That happened before, seeing, the keeper. And after I saw that, I was like, yeah, I need to probably stay out of cemeteries at night. So,
yeah, definitely. I would suggest probably they're for dead people.
Or like I said, make sure you got a video camera with you. One of the two.
Something, yeah.
So if you would have said this thing that you saw just a second ago, there wasn't any fire involved, I would have said, let's talk flesh and blood here. But because of that, I've got to feel like this was an entity, a paranormal type thing, presented to you, mm-hmm. and only you maybe for just a brief second, just enough to scare the hell out of you, tell you to get the hell out of here. Maybe it was the same thing with the Grim Reaper type person. I don't know, but you're definitely getting some reaction to some things going on when you're hanging out in those graveyards.
Yeah,
you're definitely more in tune to the paranormal than most people.
I'm not. I definitely should stay away from graveyards. I do know that, or maybe try to capture something. One of the two. I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah.
If I decide to go back at night sometime, I'll take cameras with me.
Yeah, get yourself a GoPro and just put it on your chest, like that.
Right. So.
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on out there. Who knows what we are dealing with? And there's definitely ghosts and entities out there for sure. There's been too many people claim and too many videos and whatnot for there not to be something.
Right.
What you're seeing sounds
especially
terrifying.
Especially the way the world's going right now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If you could imagine what it feels like to feel pure evil, that's what it felt like to see this thing.
Did you tell anybody? Did you tell anybody afterwards?
Later, I did. After I kind of calmed myself and collected my thoughts, and I told them about what I saw. I believe they believed me, and they never saw anything, and so they went there to go see something for themselves, but never got to. It was me. So,
well, maybe the rumors were true about that place. Maybe they do.
the scariest thing about it
Maybe
all
they do rituals there.
is later that night, my wife had told me that she wanted to tell me that she felt like she was literally, it's like something was trying to possess her before, because when she's like, hey, I want to go, I'm having a bad feeling, she felt like something was trying to take over her body. And perhaps maybe it was that entity that I saw.
Something was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Something not good.
You guys definitely should stay out of the graveyards. At least keep your wife out of them.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Talking about feeling like she's possessed or something. It's like, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we were not playing with these forces. So
were you more afraid? Yeah. Were you more afraid with the second encounter you told us about than you were the first one? The
the Step Cemetery. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like I said, when I saw the keeper at my friend's graveyard, I didn't feel like it was there to hurt us. It was more like a, hey, you've spent enough time here. It's time to leave. It wasn't like a threat per se. It was just a, hey, move along. Like this is their time now, essentially.
Right. Show some respect. Move along.
Yeah. So I didn't feel terribly afraid when I saw that, but the other entity, yes.
And you said Step Cemetery is around Bloomington?
Yes.
Okay.
Was there a smell, odor, sulfur, anything you could pick up? Anything you know?
I don't remember smelling anything, to be honest with you. There could have been, and maybe I've forgotten, but I don't remember smelling anything.
Okay. Just checking.
Well, there's a lot of weird things that happen around Bloomington, Brown County area. There's some parks down there, Brown County Park, obviously. Very wooded. A lot of Bigfoot encounters happen down there. I think there's some cave systems down there. So,
oh yes, ton of cave systems. Could be like all over southern Indiana.
Could be a portal to something for all we know for what you're seeing. But those are really
could be too.
Those are really spooky, scary, interesting encounters that you have there, Matt. And
yeah, no kidding.
It's cool that you told us. I'm sorry you had to go through them.
It's all good.
But we're glad you did.
Yeah.
Hoping maybe one day I'll have a Bigfoot story for you guys. Who knows? You never know.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Hanging out down there in southern Indiana.
I got like 10 acres of nothing but trees, and that 10 acres connects to more trees, and so who knows? Maybe I might get lucky one day.
Yeah, get out there and
get out there in the woods and check it out.
Yeah, explore. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Be aware.
Always.
Well, you're military.
Yeah.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah. And thanks for your service, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we got some not big kitties down there in the woods, but some medium-sized cats that will disturb your day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely go out armed. Yep. Well, thanks again, Matt, for being here with us, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate the time and
taking the time.
Pleasure being on with you guys. So.
Yeah.
All right, bud. Well, you take care then.
We appreciate it.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Later.
I mean, the Grim Reaper thing is one thing that's creepy. Whatever he saw in that second graveyard.
Yeah, whatever that second one was.
Was that like a devil? What was that? I mean,
I don't know. Some kind of demon. I don't know. But that guy needs to stay out of graveyards, I think.
Definitely. They're for the dead, and that's who belongs there. So if you go in one, expect weird things to happen, I guess. That's all I can say.
Especially old ones.
But yeah, seeing something like that would be so freaking crazy. Even more crazy than like
I don't know. I don't know how I could handle something like that. Do not forget to go to our website, www.cryptidcreatures.net.
Yes, check us out.
One-stop shop for everything cryptid creatures.
Say hello, check out our store, submit your story, and maybe become a member and get more episodes.
That's right.
I will talk to you later.
Right on.